I don't know. I have no idea what to expect tonight. Well, I talked to him for a little bit. Now, he won't give me his name. Insists on complete anonymity. Did you check that, by the way? Do you got that? Did you got the face and the voiceover, the distortion? I don't know. I'm going to ask him about it right at the beginning, though. What he's got to share is unbelievable. I was not expecting this to happen to my heart. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this, the 6th segment of our special Dateline Jerusalem series. We continue tonight with just a different dimension, a different look at the controversial story of Jesus of Nazareth. The two sides of this heavily contended event. The followers of Jesus, who insist that Jesus, after he was crucified, came back to life again. And then an unlikely coalition of Roman imperial officials and the office of the high priest himself of Israel. And this coalition has been contending that the Roman guard that was placed outside of the tomb was actually derelict in duty, and that some people came, some of his followers, and stole his body to perpetuate a hoax of his resurrection. Joining us tonight, under the complete condition of anonymity, is a Roman officer who professes the complete and to know the absolute inside story. Welcome. Thank you for joining us tonight, sir.
Now, you're sure nobody can see my face? They can't hear my voice?
Absolutely.
It's disguised?
I checked right before the show.
You're positive?
Our audience here can see you, but broadcast live on the TV, they will not see anything, and your voice is dropped at least 2 or 3 different tones below. So speak out. It's going to be okay. But
okay.
Would you tell us why? Why is that?
Well, I don't want anybody to know who I am.
Well, clearly. But why is that?
If my superiors know who I am, it'll just be that much easier for them to kill me.
We certainly wouldn't want that.
No, that would be bad.
And why is it that you think they want to kill you?
Well, I'm going to tell you things tonight that they don't want you to hear. What I'm going to tell you, this is treason.
Well, but you're the one who called us. Why in the world did you come to us if it was so dangerous?
You're right, I did. I'm an officer of the Imperial Infantry. We are expected to be obedient to the Senate, to Rome, to the people of Rome, all that kind of stuff. I'm also expected to act with honor. I expect that of myself. And what's going on here? This is dishonorable. The Senate, the people of Rome, and even all these barbarians here, they need to know what's going on.
So I get it. You want to bring the truth to light.
No, I don't want the lights on. Don't turn the lights on.
Sorry, I didn't mean that. But you came here to tell us the truth.
That's right. No more lies.
Well, we thank you for that. But before we go on, we obviously also can't use your name. So how should I address you in this interview?
Yeah, just call me Centurion.
Centurion.
That's my rank. It means I command 100 men.
Okay then, Centurion. If you could please take a few moments to tell us of your particular involvement with this Jesus case.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. I first saw Jesus when he was brought into the Praetorium.
Praetorium. Could you please describe what a praetorium is here for the benefit of our viewing audience?
Yes. The Praetorium, it's like the headquarters of the Roman presence in Jerusalem. The governor has offices there, court is held there, and other government functions. And then, of course, there's a barracks for the Imperial Legion.
Okay, so how many troops are there actually stationed in Jerusalem?
Whoa. I'm here to blow the whistle on a cover-up. I'm not going to give you classified secrets. Okay, that's military information.
Just exercising my right for the public to know.
I don't know where you come from, but this is the Roman Empire. There's no sissy First Amendment here.
Okay. Well, of course. Please, would you go on and tell us more about your meeting with Jesus?
Yeah, he was brought into the praetorium by the chief priest's guards, but they didn't come in. Something about getting all unholy if they came in to the building. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. They just have some weird ideas. So His Excellency, the governor, he had to keep going in and out of the compound, trying to figure out exactly what they wanted us to do with Jesus.
So what exactly did they want you to do with Jesus?
I don't know. Kill him, I suppose.
So you're not sure?
Well, I mean, most likely that's what they were after. That's what ended up happening. As I said, they were outside, I was inside. Governor Pilate, he kept asking Jesus questions and then going out, talking to the high priest people, then asking Jesus more questions. He was getting pretty frustrated.
Jesus was getting frustrated?
No. Not him. Pilate. Jesus was calm. He was calm as could be. Maybe stubborn, yes. He would barely answer Pilate. But frustrated? No, not at all. It was weird. I think the governor thought it was kind of weird too, because he even asked Jesus. He asked Jesus if he understood what he could do to him, what Pilate could do to Jesus, I mean.
What did the governor think of that? Did he understand?
I don't even know how to answer you. If anything, he understood more than that. He told Pilate that he, the governor, he couldn't be doing anything unless his God allowed it.
That had to be strange. What did you think of that?
Well, it freaked the governor out. I mean, that, and then he got some message from his wife, and I don't know, he started pacing back and forth. I think Pilate, he just wanted Jesus out of there. So he thought, we'll punish Jesus a little bit, let the chief priests know that, hey, we're taking them seriously, and then let him go. So he turned Jesus over to us.
So what did you do?
Well, it might surprise your audience here, but there can be kind of an ugly side to military life.
Do tell.
Yes, sir. You'd be surprised, but we took Jesus and we gave him the customary 40 lashes. Well, actually, we only gave him 39. You wouldn't want to lose count and then go over. But before that, we had a little fun with him.
What kind of fun do you mean?
Well, we heard he was supposed to be some type of prophet. So we blindfolded him. Then we stood around in a circle and took turns kind of beating on him, seeing if he could use his prophet power to say who hit him.
So was he able to guess it correctly?
What are you talking about? Of course he didn't guess correctly. He didn't guess at all. He just stood there and he took it. You could see he was really hurting. I mean, we are Roman soldiers. That's kind of our job. We beat people up, and we were really letting him have it. But Jesus, he never said anything.
That really sounds quite brutal.
Unfortunately, it gets worse. We overheard Governor Pilate say something about him being a king. So we wrapped him in a purple tablecloth. We put a stick in his hand and pretended like we were bowing down to him. Only every time we came up out of the bow, bam, right to the face. Then one of the guys, we got the idea to take some briars and make a crown because he was a king and all. And they have some pretty nasty briars over there in Jerusalem. shoved it down on his head, and he was bleeding. It was pretty nasty. I don't even think his mom would have recognized him.
But Jesus was not let go after that.
No, he wasn't. By this time, there was a mob outside, and Pilate took Jesus out to them, all dressed up like we had him, and they just started screaming for Jesus' blood.
You know, Governor Pilate told us when he was here that the chief priests actually kind of goaded the crowd into that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know about that. Remember, that's outside. I'm inside.
Of course, I'm sorry. Go on.
So Pilate comes back inside, and he's starting to wipe his hands on his toga. And at this point, he's furious. I mean, he's cursing up a blue streak. Then he points over to us soldiers, and he says, "Do what they say." And we can hear the crowd outside. "Crucify him! Crucify him!"
So that's what you did then.
Yes, sir.
Would you please go on to explain to us tell us about the crucifixion?
Yeah, crucifixion is never pretty. I mean, but this was worse than usual. We nailed him to the cross right through both his hands and his feet. You know, most always we tie these guys up to the cross, but not with Jesus. We took nails, probably about that long, right through hands and feet.
So did you see the whole crucifixion?
Yeah, I mean, that's part of my job. I'm at 4 or 5 crucifixions a week, and sometimes a lot more, you know, several at a time even. Mostly, you don't watch the whole thing beginning to end. You know, some of these guys, it takes them a week to die. So you pull guard duty at Golgotha. That's where we crucify people in Jerusalem. And maybe one watch every couple days. But because of the politics surrounding Jesus, the fact that there was a big Jewish holiday coming up, and there was a lot of troublemakers in town for the occasion, they wanted a number of us to stick with Jesus until the very end.
And so you were then there with this crucifixion all the way through to the end?
Yeah, I was. It was a very short crucifixion, you know, mostly because we'd already beat him up pretty good. I mean, he was in bad shape when we put him up there. And quite frankly, he died right away, within a couple of hours. But what was weird, it seemed like it took forever.
What do you mean by that?
Well, at the start of it, you know, we were still kind of horsing around, drawing straws for Jesus' clothes, divvying up his stuff right there in front of him, kind of like we always do. But then we noticed it was getting dark.
Sure, then it'd be time for the night watch, of course.
No, you don't understand. It was still lunchtime, but it didn't look like it. It just kept getting darker, and not cloudy, just darker.
That sounds awfully strange.
Well, that's not all of it. After a couple of hours, Jesus, he lets out this big yell, and he had mumbled a few things before, but I wasn't really paying attention. Like I said, I'm at a lot of these crucifixions. But he lets out this scream. And then there's this earthquake. And then he stops moving, and so does the ground. And one of my soldiers, he goes up and takes his spear, and he stabs him in the side, and all this blood comes out. And Jesus doesn't move. And then it's light again.
The sun came back out?
No, the sun, it hadn't gone anywhere. It just quit shining. But the light comes back, and I'm thinking, this really was the Son of God.
Are you literally saying at this point that did you become a believer in Jesus at this point?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I wouldn't have known what to believe about him anyway. All I knew is that it looked like the gods were sure mad that we killed him.
So then he was buried.
Yes, sir. The Jewish people, they were in an awful hurry. A big holiday was starting, and they weren't allowed to touch the dead body after sundown or after the holiday had started. I don't know. Like I said, these people, they have some weird ideas. So they just weren't supposed to touch the body. So they had to get him buried before sundown. And they went out. They got this, temporary grave until, more permanent situation could be found. And once they get the body in there, on the governor's orders, he says, hey, seal it up with a rock, like those Jewish tombs do. And then we sealed it with some wax, and then we stood guard.
What would be the purpose of the wax?
Well, it's so you can tell if the tomb has been messed with. If the wax was broken, then obviously somebody had been there.
But couldn't someone have just kind of resealed it up again with some new wax?
Listen, we would know.
You would know. How'd you be able to tell?
Well, first of all, we use a special seal to mark in the wax, but those details are classified, so don't ask about that, all right? But no one sneaks past the Roman infantry.
But Pilate says that the guards all fell asleep and that the body of Jesus was stolen.
He's lying.
Lying? You say that about the imperial governor of Judea?
Listen, I know it's treason. I know what I said. That's why I'm in hiding in the dark here. I could get killed for telling you this. Heck, they will kill me if they find out who I am.
How do we know for sure that you're telling the truth?
Listen, if I fell asleep on guard duty, they'd have killed me already. Okay? No one fell asleep. They just told us to say that we did. Then they paid us off to be quiet.
Then what are you saying happened?
I don't know. We saw this light in the middle of the night, and these two guys, and they're not normal guys. They were wearing white clothes, but I don't even know how to describe them to you. They rolled the stone back while we just stood there in shock, and then he came out of the tomb.
The dead Jesus just walked right out of the tomb.
No, hold on now. You make it sound like some zombie movie or something like that. Dead people don't walk. He wasn't dead. Not anymore. He walked out of the grave. Just like you and I walk out of our house in the morning.
So what did you and the other soldiers do?
We ran. I'd
run.
These were brave men. I know most of them pretty well. I've known most of them for our whole lives. But I haven't seen any of them since then. They've split us up. They've transferred us all around. Heck, I doubt I'll see any of them ever again. But I've been watching your show. I listened to what Pilate said, that liar. I heard what the other people who came on here said, and I had to come on here tonight. I had to set the record straight. This Jesus, he is alive.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. You've heard it from an inside source. The Empire's story of a grave robbery is a hoax in and of itself. It's an elaborate cover-up. What conclusions could we possibly draw from all this, from this guy's story and from the other interviews that we've heard from? I guess it could be only this. Ladies and gentlemen, Jesus of Nazareth, he is alive. This is Dateline Jerusalem. Good night, and have an eternal tomorrow.